Hey, Sisterhood! Welcome back to another episode of Sisters. On this episode, we'll be touching on something that people don't really talk about: godparents. Stay tuned. And we are back. Before we head into today's topic, let's give a shout out to our sponsors. We'd like to say thank you to Glam D Fashion for all of your loungewear needs. Also, a major shout out to Winner's Place. It is a venue space located in Brooklyn, New York, owned by overseas based Guyanese Mr. Keegan Eaton. Contact them for all of your event needs. Also, we'd like to give a shout out to Wonder Scrub Like Silk. You'll get your body scrubs, essential oil, anything you need for your skin to feel like luxury. And also the Shimmy Shauna brand. You can visit them at www.shimmyshauna.com. Hi, sisters. How are you?
Hey, Shamisa.
Hi, ladies. As always, I've missed you guys. So today we're going to just touch on godparents because have you ever wondered who is your godparent, where that term even came from, and why we have it? Well, we were wondering where did that come from, and have you seen your godparents recently? Who knows? So we're gonna get into that a bit. So we have Colleen and Svetlana, who are both mothers, and they're gonna explain to us how they decided to choose who was going to be the godparent for their beautiful children. Colleen, how was that process for you? Like, what is it based on? I mean, how did that work for you?
All right. Oh my goodness. So for me, please don't judge me, but I would have chosen, I select godparents based on their status. Let me explain when I say status. If you are financially stable, if you are of a good background, if it more or less has to do with your status in society. And so I am not going to select a godparent that is not working. You can't provide for yourself. You're unable to provide for your own children that you may have. You're unable to provide for probably the person you're dating. I'm sorry, but it's like me putting my child in poverty, or it's like me putting my child with or having someone to sponsor my child that is unable to sponsor my child. And so you know godparents has to do with replacing the mother or the father, or replacing the parents who are unable to do something. They have to stand in that gap and fill that capacity. And so if you can't stand in the gap to fill my void, then I am not going to choose you as a godparent for my child. So for me, I am not saying that that is it holistically, but that is it. That is a primary factor.
That explains a lot. I now see why me get the godmother role. I don't have statuses
According to
in
Johnny, you're
society.
rich. You're rich, sis.
That was a lot. What her honesty, is what I love the most. Just in
Okay.
case you may be wondering, where this term came about, where it came from. And so I'm reading here, it says the role of the godparent arose when there was a need in the early Christian times for someone to vouch for the candidate who want to enter into the Catholic Church. So
Yeah.
you had to get like a sponsor,
Mhm.
somebody who's going to vouch for you and say, yes, this person is going to be a good person and I'm going to mentor this person along the way. I know, over time it came about your status in society and whether you're financially capable and things like that. It has evolved over the years.
Mm.
But for me, I want to say I look at relationship. Now, if I have a friend,
Mm.
and I have many friends, I look at the closeness. I look at whether that person is responsible or not. And if something is to happen to me, whether he or she would take my child
As
and
their own.
as their own and offer that kind of support that I would have offered my child. So that's what I look for. And so I have two children. And when I got Johnny, when I was conceived with Johnny, I knew almost immediately I wanted Shamiza, Latoya, Chantil, and my husband chose the godfather, right, to be godparents because those three girls or women, they were very close to me. They were some of my closest friends, and I know without a doubt that should something happen to me, either of them would step up and they would offer that kind of support Johnny would need throughout her life. And I have no regret. I have absolutely no regret. All of them take care. And when it's Christmas and birthdays and even in between, they would reach out and they would send, the nice Johnny is a girl with things, right? And she likes to go places and so on. And so they would ensure that Chonik is well taken care of. And so, and it's the same with Javier. When I was conceived with him, I knew exactly who I wanted to be. And it's not because my other friends are not good enough. It's because I have like, there's something in me that says, Svetlana, let Patricia, let Chanelli, let Yuvel and Jude, of course, he had his own God person in mind. Let these persons be Javier's godparents because I saw a part of me in them, and I know for sure that should something happen to me, they may not have all the riches of the world, they may not have a lot of, in society, but I know that they would, even the little that they have, they would give some to Javier to ensure that, he fulfill his potential if he's going out of line, God forbid. They would bring him, offer guidance, offer love and comfort, turn up to some of his events. Godparents is for me is more than just giving, is offering that guidance, is being there when you need somebody to clap for you and cheer you on. And Shamiza was telling Johnny the other day, hey, call me this Sunday. Let's discuss your business plan because Johnny wants to launch her own business. And that is the kind of thing I want people who will positively influence their lives. So that is what godparents is for me. And I try my best to. I have I know of at least two godchildren. And I ensure Christmas time, I ensure I get their gift. I mean, miss the birthdays, but Christmas, for sure. And even if sometimes I don't have to give because these things happen, I call, I find out how is my god baby doing. Send me the first day of school, things like that. So for me, that is what it is. So I'm gonna hand over back to Shamiza
I
so she
just
could
have
steer
one
this.
question
Go.
for Svetlana. Just one question, Shamiza. Permit me, please, to ask this question. You indicated that you see a part of these selected godparents because I'm not a godparent for any of
No.
Svetlana's. Let me finish, please. Any of Svetlana's children. So she said that she saw a piece of, these people that she selected within her. Do you see a piece of me?
Of course, and you used to be. I always tell Colleen Colleen is a spoiled child of this whole friendship, so she's got to get this extra love and attention. And I often used to say, when we were going to school, Colleen and I used to walk home most of the time. Shamisa used to be the one. I think she used to be solo, but she used to be
No,
cheering
she
on.
used to come off early because she be
Yes.
in Silvertown.
But she used to be cheering everybody on, and Chanel and Latoya used to walk with. You and I shared a lot. But I mean, you have your Baba, and you have things
Really,
going for you.
Svetlana?
So, but like I said, I don't want to feel guilty that I didn't give somebody godparent. Like I said, when in those two occasions, I knew exactly, and for me, it's almost spiritual because it's like I I don't just act like that. It has to be purposeful. And I just don't want Vanessa is my best friend. Vanessa could tell you she's my best friend, but she's not the godparent. And it's not because she's not a great mother. She's an excellent mother. But at that point when I conceive, these are the names that came to me, and that is what I went with. And I
Understand.
don't want it to be, oh, we were friends for 30 years, because sometimes years, don't mean nothing. But you and I have
Yeah.
a special bond. And nothing, you were like an aunt. So you
Yes.
should be fighting up for godparents any which way. Sit down and
Svetlana,
take your aunt
please.
role seriously.
Svetlana.
Now, over to you, Shamiza. Stop the fighting. Shucks, man. Like, I'm gonna go make a next child, but not one bit of it. Not today. Mm-mm.
Yes, Shimi.
Yes. So, for me, it is a very. Yes. So go ahead, Shamiz. I
Go
was going
ahead,
to make a
Shimi.
point, but I'll get back to that point later.
Okay, awesome. Oh, that was entertaining. This is literally how we bicker in real life. And I would just like to say I'm very much the proudest godparent for Colleen's daughter Madison and Svetlana's children, Johnny and Javier, and I'm very, very proud. I take my role as a godparent very seriously, very seriously. And I think something that parents don't think about is the legal aspect of someone being a godparent. I know oftentimes the way we conduct that is through some type of religious ceremony, whatever religion you may be a part of. And we just say, okay, yeah, you're the godparent, great, let's go to church, mosque, wherever you worship, and that's it. But if you really think about it, you're placing someone to be a godparent. God forbid, in the absence of you, you would like that person to step up. But no court in their right mind is going to give it to someone that you just decided at a religious ceremony that's going to take your place. They're not going to say, oh, yeah, okay, let's send little Bum Bum over to this person or that person, because you need something in writing for it to be legally recognized. And I do think parents really do need to start thinking about that when they start throwing out godparent cards. Like wildfire. And it's important that you have, if you go to the court, like for instance, I'm also the godmother for my sister's children, Eva and Mika, and we have something legally in place. God forbid something happens to Yushana or her mom or her kids' grandparents on her father's side and the father. We have a document in place that states, should something happen to all of these people, I am going to be their legal guardian. And we even went one step farther to put it in their will. So, God forbid anything happens to any of them, we're not going to court to fight to see who gets to keep the kids. We would go to court just to implement that written document. Because God forbid anything happens to Svetlana, oh my God, God forbid, and her mom and her family. I would hate to have to fight for Jonique, but I would. I'm punching everybody. Okay? All those godparents you mentioned, Svetlana, I don't care. I'm coming for my baby. And but you want to avoid all of that. Same for Madison. They're my babies. Because as I told you, I take this role very seriously. But I will also like to say, to my beautiful unborn children who are currently in the refrigerator, frozen eggs, people, calm down. Devo and Katifo, Svetlana and Colleen would be my choice for godmother. For Kativo, my daughter, yeah, and Chanelli would be the godmother for Devo. I don't really need your judgment on the names of my unborn frozen children. But Chanelli, since I've known you, you've always had great godparents. And I want you to speak from like an adult perspective. Like, do you know where your godparents are? And like, are they involved in your life? Are you happy with who your mom would have chosen to be your godparents?
I'm definitely happy for my godparents. My godparents were very present, very active. I think I'm the most spoiled godchild any of my godparents would have. Um, my I'm the eldest godchild for one of my godmother, and listen, she is even sometimes she's a mother. She mothers me more than my mother, cause like we talk a lot. We have a good relationship. She ensures that every occasion I'm taken care of. Even if it's just because it's Wednesday, I get a gift. Her children are like my brothers and sisters. Like we have a very good relationship. I have no regrets in terms of who my mother chose to make my godparents. I know where they all are. I think of the four, everybody had like their role. One of my godfather, his role, he wasn't so like he didn't have like a lot of money or anything, but his role was to buy ribbon and socks every school time. And listen, if my mother tells him that, oh, you got buy ribbon and socks this year because she ribbon from last year is still good, like he would get so upset. Like she's depriving him of his role. And this man had said, nah, 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 nah. She ain't wearing the back. He going to buy fresh ribbon and socks. And I have godparents who paid my way through school, who paid for me to go to school, who even until now you feel like people honestly feel like I'm their child. So yeah, I have no regrets. I love all my godparents. One of them we don't really speak every day or things like that, but when we do speak, it's as if we have to catch up on all we missed out on. So I am accustomed to collecting a good little prags like Johnny because my godparents are overseas. So I could understand how Johnny just be looking forward to shoot things.
Two fancy girls, Jonica and Madison. Yeah, no, I agree with Chanelli, and I think I could speak on behalf of my sisters for this. Watching Chanelli's godparents definitely showed me what it is to have great godparents in your life because growing up, we even saw them. They were very active in her life. And one of them, I think he was very active in all of our lives, even. That's her godfather. And because he was her godfather, he looked over all of us as children. They were that present, and I strive to be as great as they are in her life. Even now as an adult, they still come together and co-parent Chanelli. So that's
Mhm.
something really really awesome. Sorry, Svetlana, would you like to say
Point.
something?
Yes, Shamisa. What is important too, sometimes, all right, you assign somebody as a godparent, and then you and that individual, they got a little tension of falling out. It's important not to
Allow it
allow
to
that to
affect the
affect
child.
the child.
Hmm.
I remember
Good point.
growing up, my I found out about my godparents when I was like in high school, and I was so happy because they were overseas, right? And when I came back, I had all the brand name clothes. Growing up, I wasn't big on brands. I didn't even know if I had a brand name boots that I could remember. So when they came with all these fancy clothes, I was, happy and so on. And then, like a year into the relationship, everything going nice, or 2 years, then they had some falling out with my parents, and that's the last I heard about
Mm.
from my godparents. Now, if you're out there, you're looking at the show, kindly kindly make contact with me. No, but it's a very serious.
I would like to say something as well. Svetlana, to your point, it's important for parents as well. If you choose a godparent for your children or your child, and there's a rift between you and that godparent, sometimes the parent themselves they close that door between the godparent and the children, and it's important for parents to not do that. It's important that you guys keep the door open to allow that relationship between your child and their godparents. So it's definitely something that works both ways, I would say. But yeah, I'll throw it over back to you, Colleen and Svetlana, to close off the show.
And Shamisa made an excellent point because I remember, when we had our little falling out, things weren't all sweet. And, Shamisa still called, and when we were going to the States, I say, hey, Shamisa, you got picnic coming up to the stage. She said, no problem, bring she through, And, we didn't allow that to affect Johnny's relationship with her. I
Mm.
mean, it wasn't a massive fallout, although sometimes we want to exaggerate. But, she was still present, and that's important. Children are children, and they must be kept in that safe space. And we must continue, because you don't allow other relationship to affect theirs with your, get them caught up in adult situations and so on. So it's important.
Yeah.
And if you're a godparent, you're looking at this show and you're not taking up your responsibility, this is a call. This is a direct call to you. Please, a nice call or a nice ice cream to the shop. Anything would do. It doesn't have to be, expensive trip or branding clothes like,
True.
I was looking forward to. But, just take your role seriously, because sometimes children just need a bit of encouragement. And anything you want to say, Colleen?
Yes. So before we close, we do have our godparent here with us, the sisters godparent, Miss Shanice. Thank you so much for all that you've done for Johnny, as well as Madison. And now you have Javier on your hand. And
We have
trust me,
Chanelly as well. Chanelly's
and
Madison's
Chanelly,
godmother as well
Chanelly,
as
sorry.
Javier God
So,
parent.
thank you guys so much for every single thing that you've done for
Christmas
our
is coming up.
children.
Just
I
kidding.
know Madison's birthday is around the corner.
Oh,
Shaniza already took care of that. Thank you, girlfriend. Johnny's birthday is around the corner. She's already thinking about taking care of that as well. We don't have any issues, and so thank you for being a mentor to our children. Thank you for loving them as your own, and we love you for loving them.
and check us out on TikTok, YouTube, Twitter, and Facebook. Goodbye.
Bye.
Love you guys.